Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the challenge. My name's Troy, I'm bold, and I collect watches. And from the start of this video, you'll see exactly what I'm going to be talking about. And of course, we have to touch upon the dial. So the Tiffany-esque blue was the in thing in 2022. And as far as I'm aware, this is Casio's first offering. So managing to find a Casio with this sought after and in-demand Tiffany-inspired blue is simply the icing on the cake. But let's start from the beginning. When searching for a watch, my first port of call, because of the budget restraints I had to be a Casio. And without a shadow of a doubt, Casio is the most respected brand under the £100 price bracket. And of course, my head was swayed by some of the spec monsters out there on AliExpress. For example, the Steel Dive Willard is an absolute beast. But a homage watch is loved as well as hated, and I need your votes, so I decided against AliExpress. I even looked into getting hold of something NOS or new old stock. There were a few on eBay that tickled my fancy, but I wanted to showcase something that you guys could also purchase for under £100. Then that also meant ruling out a couple of pre-owned purchases. Looking at pre-owned, I had considered maybe a Citizen Eco Drive or maybe a G-Shock, but I didn't delve too much into used because I knew which Casio I wanted to get. I had my heart set on a Casio analog because I wanted something dressier, because to me I associate dress watches as the absolute creme de la creme in the watch world. I don't know why, maybe because you wear a dress watch in a more formal and classier occasion, so for me it adds some sort of prestige. I already own an MTP Casio and I knew exactly that this line punches well above its weight. So okay, I understand it's not going to set the world on fire when it comes to specifications, but for looks and a solid, respected brand, I think I've nailed this. So let's take a closer look into this watch. For starters, you can see where it gets its influence from. With its fluted bezel, all I'm really seeing here is Rolex, and I'm totally digging it. The highly polished fluted bezel has been set upon a polished bezel, which you can see just around the outer edge of the fluted part. This then steps down to the lugs, which are highly polished, as is the rest of the case, and all this polishing just adds to the elegance that this watch exudes. We have to keep remembering that this cost me less than £100. But how does it wear? And let's see the dimensions. Casio have chosen to go with a mineral crystal with this, which is not really far from the norm for them. And I don't believe I've seen an analog Casio with a sapphire crystal, maybe unless it's one of their edifices, or maybe part of their lineage line. So I'm not really bothered about this, because, of course, why would they break tradition? Maybe it would help sales with a sapphire crystal, but seeing what these are fetching on the secondary market, I can't really see Casio having any issues in shifting plenty of these units. Even Russell, the mad watch collector, was calling out all these scalpers, and rightly so. I've actually seen this watch online from H. Samuel here in the UK for £59. But please guys, don't pay over asking price or recommended retail price, just wait for those restocks. After all, we have to remember the debacle that was the Casio, and all you need to do now is just look at their prices. So we go back to this crystal. What I do like is that it sits slightly lower than the fluted bezel, which reassures me any knocks will be on the bezel before the glass, so it's slightly reassuring. But I still want to make sure this looks flawless for a long time, so even though it's a cheapie, I'm going to be looking after this watch, and in such a short time it has had so much wear already. On the underside of the watch we have all the info we need. It's a press-on case back. It tells us we have water resistance of 5 bar, which is 50 meters, which is more than ample for a watch like this. If you want 100 meters or a 200 meter water resistant watch, then Casio has you covered for under £100, but just not with this watch. It's a stainless steel back, which is great, but only if the rest of the watch were to be like this. Unfortunately, it's only a brass case. Such a shame. It's going to show wear and tear a lot quicker than I would like. I do have over 60 watches, and I do benefit of being able to rotate my collection. If you don't have that luxury, then this will be a disadvantage because it just won't hold up to the daily job, and because it's not stainless steel, it will show wear and tear a lot quicker. The crown is pretty small and it can be pulled out easily just by lodging your nail on the underside, and voila, the crown is out. You can quick set the date when it's pulled into its first position, and then when you pull it into its second position, you can change it to the time. And if we go on to the star of the show, that is the dial. It's what this watch is all about. It makes me easily forget about the lack of specs. You're getting the blue dial everyone wants from a brand that everyone loves, and at a price that is pretty easy to obtain for 99% of us out there. The blue draws inspiration from Tiffany, one of the longest established high-end luxury manufacturers and retailers of things like jewelry and leather goods. Tiffany have recently changed ownership and is now owned by LVMH, who themselves are heavy in the watch game with such brands under their umbrella like Tag Heuer, Hublot, and Zenith. But I'm just going to sit here and mind my own business with my Casio, which, if truth be told, I think holds more respect amongst us collectors than a Hublot. If you disagree, click the thumbs down. But for those that do agree, click the thumbs up and then smash that subscribe button. The rest of the dial is just as perfect at the color choice, with the print of Casio, and here down at 6 o'clock WR50 for its water resistance, nothing is overdone. Along the outside, we have our printed minute track with Arabic numerals for each 5-minute increment. Maybe using the same font as the WR50 or vice versa may have made this watch style flow a little bit better. But I'm really just clutching at straws trying to find something to critique this dial. Honestly, I can't. Well, okay, maybe the lack of Lume on the indexes, but then if you put Lume on them, you're going to sacrifice the little elegance that these highly polished indexes give. You have double baton markers at the 3, 6, 9 and 12, and you'll see that they taper ever so slightly. A subtle change to the design, but enough to have an impact. Even at the 3 o'clock, Casio have chosen to offer half an index, providing more fluidity for this dial. The date window is framed, which gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Even though it's printed, I think it's a great choice, because if it was framed with an applied polished frame, it may have looked busy around this 3 o'clock mark. The hands are an excellent choice. The fence style hands have been chosen for both the hour and minute, and both do have Lume applied to them. And the second hand is highly polished to match the other hands. But let me draw your attention to two things. Look at that second hand. It's hitting every marker. But also check this out. Look at that minute hand. The tip of the minute hand literally hits the end of the hour marker. And for that, Casio gets mad props from me. I did mention that there is Lume included with this watch, so let's check it out. So as you'll see, the Lume is a little bit underwhelming, but we are talking a Casio non-diver under £100. Again, I think I'm going to be critical here because we're going on to the bracelet. The bracelet has hollow end links, but what's even worse, it has folded links. And trying to resize this is a nightmare. We're talking literally, it's such a pain that you're going to have to book the afternoon off from work just to resize this thing, because it has to be the most awkward bracelet I've ever come across. And take a look at this. You can actually see the folded link, and this is one huge come down from an almighty high for me. But on the plus side, I do think this will be an absolute strap monster. The bracelet has a slight taper, so it starts at 17.1mm, then goes down to 15.4mm. That's a bonus, right? I know you guys like a tapered bracelet. Well, I know I do, so that's some redemption at least. As is the sign clasp. I get it. This is a press clasp, but the clasp locks and responds extremely well. I really do like the branding here on the clasp. Casio, you're really spoiling me. The clasp is vertically brushed. This is going to help against any excessive scratching. So again, more redeeming features to keep me happy. The inclusion of 4 micro adjustments, that's also pretty generous. And this is the bracelet that just keeps on giving. That's even more redemption here for Casio. I have dive watches 2, 3, 4 times the cost of this, and they have less micro adjusts. So I'm over the moon, and this will certainly help give me my best fit. The center link of the bracelet is highly polished, which adds to the flair that this watch gives and fits the watch perfectly. But frequent viewers of mine know I'm not overly pleased when a brand includes the polish into the bracelet, but I get it, it helps on the design front. So I'm coming around to the polishing, and I'm coming around to maybe thinking, it isn't so bad. But that's what I find that this hobby is all about. Your likes and your dislikes, they change, as does your tastes. But one thing that won't change for me is that Casio has to be the most respected sub £100 watch brand out there, and I believe it is that will win me this competition. Thanks to all the guys who've taken part, you've made this idea of mine a possibility, and if you viewers want to see more content like this, do let us know because we're thinking of running this yearly. I think I've got the winner. I've managed to snag the most sought after budget watch right now. But guys, please, please, please do not spend over retail for this. Patience is the key. For my European viewers, I managed to pick mine up from Tic Tac area, who sell some awesome Casios. I had no import charges, and I'll show you my invoice to prove that everything here was under £100. This watch is a real stunner, guys, and one that needs to find its way into your watch box. Please don't forget to look in the description where I will link all the other competitors and all the other channels so you can see what they've purchased. Do remember you have to go into the community tab to put a vote in on poll 1 and poll 2, and the winners of each poll will face off in a final poll where you get to vote again for the winner. Anyway, I do have to say thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video because I've had a blast making it, and I've really enjoyed bringing this competition to you all. Make sure you're subscribed to all the channels to see who wins and gets to be crowned the champion of the 2023 £100 Watch Challenge Royal Rumble. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.